All right, so forget backpacking through Europe or hitting those beaches in Bali.
Okay.
How about a trip around the world, but to explore
Okay.
dating styles?
Now, there's an adventure I haven't considered.
I knew you'd be up for it. This deep dive is going to take us on that global tour of dating traditions,
Right.
going way beyond those tourist traps.
I like it.
You ready to ditch the guidebook and, get into some seriously interesting cultural insights?
Absolutely. Lead the way.
For stop, Asia.
Okay.
Now, I know arranged marriages might seem like something from a history book,
Right.
but trust me, they're still a big deal in many parts of the world,
Sure.
especially in South Asia. What's fascinating is that it goes so much deeper than just romance.
You hit the nail on the head. In countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh,
Yeah.
these marriages are often seen as a way to solidify family ties and create strong community bonds.
Yeah.
It's about much more than just two people finding love.
Yeah.
It's a union that brings families together and in some cases even strengthens business or social standing.
It's like a strategic alliance almost.
It can be.
Right. But even with all that, there are still people within these systems who choose to find love on their own terms.
Sure.
How does that work?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Even in families where arranged marriages are the norm, there's often a degree of choice involved.
Mm-hmm.
Parents might present potential matches,
Right.
but the individuals still have a say in the final decision.
Okay.
And just like anywhere else, love can blossom within those arranged relationships.
That definitely challenges the way we often think about arranged marriages in the West.
Yeah.
It's not always about a lack of choice, but a different way of approaching relationships.
Mm.
But let's hop over to Japan for a second.
Okay.
Is it totally different there?
Well, they have a system called omiai, which is a traditional form of matchmaking. Think of it like a highly structured, formal introduction orchestrated by families or matchmakers.
Wow.
They bring potential couples together in a very deliberate way,
Okay.
but it can feel a bit like a job interview for marriage.
Whoa. Talk about pressure.
Right.
You'd have to show up with your best resume and a glowing recommendation from your grandma.
Exactly. It can be pretty intense.
Yeah.
But Japan also has a less formal way of dating called gokon, which is basically group dating.
Okay.
It's a fun way to meet new people in a more relaxed setting, and it actually fits perfectly with Japan's emphasis on community and group harmony.
So even their dating scene is all about togetherness.
They love to do things together.
All right, buckle up because things are about to get really interesting in China. Have you heard of Singles Day?
Yes. November 11th.
Yes.
It started as a kind of anti-Valentine's Day celebration for single people,
Uh-huh.
but it's exploded into this colossal online shopping extravaganza. It's actually the biggest shopping day in the world,
Insane.
even surpassing Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined.
It's like the entire country is celebrating being single, which makes you wonder,
Right.
why is there such a focus on it?
Well, it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the surface, it's all about embracing singlehood,
Right.
but it also reflects the immense pressure that many young Chinese people feel to get married. There's a real sense of urgency, especially from older generations, to settle down and start a family.
So you have this tension between celebrating singlehood and this underlying cultural expectation to marry.
Yes.
Is that where parent matchmaking comes in?
Exactly. It's become incredibly common for parents to take an active role in finding partners for their children.
Really?
They'll set up blind dates,
Wow.
attend matchmaking events, even post their children's profiles on specialized websites.
Wow.
It's all in the name of finding the one and ensuring their children's future happiness and security.
So it's like this whole other level of dating pressure, driven by these deeply ingrained cultural values and family expectations.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how tradition and modern dating trends are clashing in such a fascinating way.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
All right, we've explored the intricate dance of love in Asia, but now I'm ready to shift gears and see how things play out in a whole new part of the world.
Let's do it. Where are we headed next?
Next stop, the Middle East and Africa. I have a feeling we're in for some seriously eye-opening discoveries. Get ready for some diverse perspectives on love where family, religion, and societal norms all come into play.
Wow, sounds exciting.
It is.
The Middle East and Africa regions where dating often takes on a different rhythm, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like stepping into a whole new world of cultural nuances.
Right.
We're talking about societies where family honor and religious values are paramount, and that definitely shapes how people approach love and relationships.
For sure.
What's fascinating is that even with those strong traditions, you're seeing how technology and globalization are starting to shake things up a bit.
It's a dance between tradition and modernity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take the Middle East, for example.
Yeah.
In many countries, public displays of affection are still taboo,
Right.
and dating before marriage is often frowned upon. But even with those restrictions, young people are finding ways to connect and explore relationships.
Right, like with the rise of online dating
Yeah,
apps, even in places where traditional matchmaking is still the norm.
exactly. These apps provide a platform for discreet communication and a way to get to know someone before taking things further. It's a fascinating glimpse into how technology is influencing social norms, even in cultures that are deeply rooted in tradition.
It's like this undercurrent of change quietly reshaping the dating landscape. Now, I'm curious about North Africa. We were talking about dowries
All
earlier.
right.
What's the significance of this tradition in that part of the world?
Dowries have a long history in North Africa, often tied to cultural and religious practices. It's a payment made by the groom's family to the bride's family,
Okay.
often seen as a symbol of the bride's value and a way to ensure her financial security in the marriage.
Wow, that puts a whole new spin on things.
It does.
It's not just about the romance, it's about these complex social and economic factors woven into the fabric of marriage.
Precisely. It's a reminder that marriage in many cultures is much more than a union between two individuals. It's about families coming together, solidifying social bonds, and ensuring the continuity of lineage and traditions.
It makes you realize how much our Western view of romantic love can sometimes overshadow these other important aspects of relationships.
I agree.
But okay, let's switch gears for a minute. I want to talk about South Africa and this concept of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful philosophy. Can you explain how it influences dating and relationships in that culture?
Ubuntu is all about interconnectedness.
Hmm.
The idea that I am because we are. It's a way of life that emphasizes community, compassion, and shared responsibility. So when it comes to dating, it's not just about two people finding each other. It's about their families and communities coming together as well.
So it's like a built-in support system from the start.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that a relationship doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Okay.
It's part of a larger social fabric,
Yeah.
and the well-being of the couple is intertwined with the well-being of their community.
It's like everyone has a stake in the success of the relationship,
That's right.
which is so different from the more individualistic approach we often see in the West. Right. We've journeyed through the rich tapestry of dating traditions in Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. I'm ready for our final destination.
Where to next? I'm ready for another adventure.
Let's set our sights on Europe and the Americas. I have a feeling we'll find some intriguing contrasts there. From the romantic ideals of France to the fast-paced world of online dating in the US, get ready for a whirlwind tour of love across two very different continents. All right, last leg of our global dating expedition. We're touching down in Europe and the Americas, where love stories unfold against a backdrop of both age-old traditions and modern revolutions.
Right.
Where do you think we should start?
Well, how can we talk about European romance without a stop in France?
Ooh la la!
It's a country that practically invented the art of courtship.
I'm all ears. What makes the French approach so unique?
Imagine this long candlelit dinners, filled with conversation, subtle gestures, and a playful sense of pursuit. The French take their time,
Mm-hmm.
savoring the process of getting to know someone.
It's about the journey, not just the destination. I like that.
Exactly.
No pressure to rush into anything.
No, not at all. It's about building anticipation, enjoying the intellectual and emotional connection. They're not just looking for a quick fling. They're looking for a partner who stimulates their mind and their heart.
It's so refreshing.
Yes.
But okay, let's hop across the pond to the US.
Yeah.
Talk about a contrast.
Yeah.
Here in the States, it feels like everything moves at warp speed,
Right.
especially when it comes to dating.
Right.
And of course, we can't forget about the elephant in the room, online dating.
It's completely transformed the dating scene, hasn't it?
For sure.
Apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge,
Yeah.
they've become the modern-day matchmakers connecting people based on shared interests,
Right.
location, and even astrological compatibility.
It's like having a digital dating pool right at your fingertips.
That's right.
But does all this instant connection make it harder to form meaningful relationships?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
It's true that online dating has made casual dating and hookups much more common,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also created opportunities for people to find love in ways they never could before.
Okay.
Think about people who live in rural areas or have niche interests. Online dating opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's like it levels the playing field in a way.
Yes, it
So
does.
it's not all bad.
Not at all. It's just a different approach.
Okay.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. And what's interesting is that even with the rise of casual dating, there's still a deep desire for commitment. As people mature and their priorities shift,
Right.
they're often looking for something more substantial, more meaningful.
So it's like this pendulum swing.
Yeah.
We explore different relationship styles, but ultimately that core human need for connection and belonging never really goes away.
That's beautifully put.
Yeah.
And that brings me to a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
After exploring all these diverse dating traditions,
Yeah.
what does it tell us about the ever-evolving nature of love itself?
Ooh, that's a big one. It makes me realize that love isn't a one-size-fits-all concept.
Right.
It's shaped by our culture, our experiences, and our individual desires.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating. By embracing this diversity, we can learn so much about ourselves and the world around us.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What should they be pondering after this global dating adventure?
I think the biggest takeaway is be open to different ways of experiencing love. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone, challenge your assumptions, and explore perspectives that might be different from your own.
Love as a journey of discovery, both
Yes,
within ourselves and across cultures. I love that.
it's a journey worth taking. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to try a new approach in your own love life.
Well said. A huge thank you to you for joining me on this incredible deep dive. Until next time, may your love life be filled with adventure, understanding, and maybe even a little bit of global inspiration.